Tinubu returns to Abuja after FOCA in China and stopover in United Kingdom.
NNPC Limited commences loading of petrol from Dangote Refinery in Lagos.
2,000 barrels of crude if you are processing. We can generate more than 54 million liters of beer.
Nigerian Air Force commences airlift of relief materials to victims of flood disasters in Maiduguri.
And on Good Morning Nigeria today, we shall discuss identity management and national development, plus 2024 Champions of Talent Development Conference.
In 2019, the federal government approved September 16 every year as National Identity Day.
That's true, and the National Identity Day is to create awareness on the importance of identification as a modern tool for national development and social cohesion.
The choice of the date, September 16, is in recognition of Sustainable Development Goal SDG 16.9, which calls for a legal identity for all, including birth registration by 2030.
And as we reflect on the importance of identity in shaping our individual and collective futures, we are reminded that effective identity management is the backbone of a secure, prosperous and progressive nation.
You're right, Jumai. And on this edition of Good Morning Nigeria, the first for the week, we will examine the nexus between identity management and national development.
And Ademola, we will also explore the progress made by challenges faced and innovative solutions emerging in areas such as national identity number, that's NIN registration, digital identity infrastructure, data protection and privacy, inclusive citizenship and social service, border security and migration management.
Join us as we engage our panel of discussants in harnessing the power of identity management to drive Nigeria's growth, stability, and global competitiveness. I am Ademola Adeoye.
And that is not all we have, Ademola. We have another topic in the second part of the program, 2024 Champions of Talent Development Conference. What is it all about? You will find out soon. I am Jumma Yusuf. I join Ademola and welcome you to the program. We're live on the network service of the NTA. Chukudi Okolugbaja will join us in a bit for the newspaper review, but that is after the news highlights with Mina Daniels. Hello, Mina. It's good to see you. It's been a while.
Good morning, Jumma and Ademola. It's really good to be back. Good morning, Nigeria. Here's the morning news. President Bola Tinubu is back in Abuja after his official visit to China and a detour in the United Kingdom. The presidential aircraft touched ground at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, at about 10:40 Sunday night. He was received on arrival by Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, Chief of Staff to the President, Femi Gbajabiamila, among other top government functionaries. On August 29, the president, who left Abuja for Beijing, China, met with his Chinese counterpart, Xi Jinping, Chinese Premier Xi Jinping, and also participated in the 9th summit of the Forum on China-African Cooperation, FOCAC. During the bilateral meeting with President Jinping, 5 memoranda of understanding were signed between Nigeria and China on various social and economic cooperations. On 6 September, President Tinubu left to Belgium for London, where he spent some days and equally met with King Charles III to discuss issues relating to climate change and action. The lifting of petrol has finally commenced at the Dangote Refinery, with the facility confirming that 110 million liters is ready for loading. In the first instance, hundreds of trucks belonging to the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, set the process in motion, with the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, describing the development as a key step towards energy self-sufficiency and security.
For PMS alone, every day with 50,000 barrels of crude if we are processing, we can generate more than 54 million liters of PMS. 54. And of course, the refinery has a capacity to produce various other products. 44% of the production can meet the entire requirements of the country.
The federal government is set to deploy e-borders to ease air travel in the country. Minister of Interior Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo gave the indication in Abuja at the end of a two-day training on Advanced Passenger Information and Passenger Name Record (API PNR) for select personnel of the Nigerian Immigration Service.
It was infighting, aviation, interior. But here we came on board and we understood the fact that the key is for Nigeria to be the winner.
It is making the work easier for us to prepare ahead of time and to secure the borders more proactively.
The United Nations agency say Nigeria needs urgent global support to address the humanitarian crisis resulting from the ravaging flood in Borno State. The World Food Programme and Food and Agriculture Organization estimate that $147.9 million will be required to provide food and non-food items to the flood-affected people in Maiduguri and other food-insecure people in the Northeast for the next 6 months.
I never pray for even my enemy to experience such a thing. For you to leave your home without any single thing, just with your own personal clothes, is not something to pray for anymore in your life.
And in fulfillment of its statutory role of providing military aid to civil authority, the Nigerian Air Force has commenced airlift missions to transport relief materials to victims of the recent flood disaster affecting Maiduguri and its surrounding communities. A statement by Deputy Director of Public Relations and Information, Group Captain Kabir Ali, indicates that the materials donated by the Nigerian Customs Service is aimed at alleviating the suffering caused by the floods, which have disrupted daily life, destroyed property, and displaced millions. The airlift missions, which had the first batch of the relief items, comprising 300 bags of 50 kg rice, was successfully delivered to NAF Base Maiduguri via the NAF C-130 Hercules aircraft for onward house-to-house distribution. Earlier, the NAF had launched a medical outreach program to support flood victims, in addition to the feeding of over 2 million internally displaced persons. The NAF's airlift mission and medical outreach are part of a broader effort to support national disaster response initiatives and highlight the critical role of military assets in humanitarian crises. The Chief of Air Staff, Air Vice Air Marshal Hassan Abubakar, has directed that these operations continue as needed, ensuring that both relief materials and medical aid reach all affected areas, as the NAF will persistently collaborate with other security agencies to mobilize human and material resources for the support of flood victims. And those are the highlights of the news at this time. Good morning, Nigeria. We'll continue with Ademola Angel-May after this commercial break. Please don't go away.
From the Atlantic across the savannah to the Sahara, we rise, a land of the free, we know they tire. We dream great, our spirit is undying.
Resilient, rooted like palm tree, we sway in colors, with undying demand. with better solutions, with nice fashion, yeah. Each initiative is unique. We have more than the solution.
We are Nigeria. We are Nigeria. Strengthening unity. We know they carry lives. We are Nigeria. We are Nigeria. Together live the dream of a land with great destiny. We are Nigeria.
I am the real Nigerian. Brought to you by the National Orientation Agency, NOA.
Wow! Your baby is here! Congratulations!
Do not waste time. Put your baby to breast within the first 1 hour of delivery to give that first yellowish milk colostrum. Colostrum has all the important nutrients your baby needs to start a healthy life. Colostrum also helps to protect your baby against diseases. Remember, put your baby to breast within the first 1 hour of delivery. This message is from the ANRIN Project, Federal Ministry of Health.
In a world hungry for goodness, with a splash of Golden Terra oil, a mom can transform a frown into a smile. Make a lunch hour a happy hour. Change no thanks into yes please. Provide care when our nearest and dearest needs it most. And resolve family feuds without blowing a whistle. Providing tasty, nourishing family meals is all that matters. The world needs moms, because where there are moms, there is hope, happiness, and love. Golden Terra Oil, for pure love.
The new Milo 3-in-1 Milky and Creamy is truly milky and contains calcium. No need to add milk for that rich, creamy cup, which helps to nourish and energize your kids.
Milo! You have to meet my best friend. She's the sweetest. Hey, check out my hair.
Which one? The one on your head or the one in the sink? Relax. Next time, just use the Mega Growth Anti-Damage Relaxer. It's infused with wonder oils and conditioning proteins so you can retouch without breakage. Now your hair looks great.
Thank you.
Retouch without breakage with Mega Growth Anti-Damage No-Lie Cream Relaxer.
Bye, Mom. He's going to play in this weather. Why did you let him go? He might fall ill.
And if he doesn't go out for practice, how will he win more trophies? To protect our family from illness-causing germs during the rainy season, we use Dettol soap every day.
Dettol with Germ Defense gives you protection. Raining season brings a lot of germs, and Dettol soap's Germ Defense protects you from up to 100 illness-causing germs. Dettol soap is endorsed by the Nigerian Medical Association. Be Dettol sure.
TerraCube, unwrap joy, unleash taste.
We all get that party where they get your back anytime or day. E go carry a matter for head like say na your own. Now so GoTV tanda for your side as your party for correct enjoyment. We know the tear pocket. For this GoTV Super Plus Golden Window, you fit touchlight all the 380 Premier League games, correct local shows, and better film. We day for you. Make your sharply upgrade or recharge your GoTV on top Super Plus to enjoy every today. The Super Plus Golden Window don't come out money now. No do yourself, oh. GoTV. Love it.
Thanks for staying with us. You're still on to Good Morning Nigeria on the network service of the NTA. Up next on the program is Newspaper Review.
Our newspaper reviewer Chukudi Okolu Baja is seated here in the studio. A very beautiful Monday morning to you.
I think I agree with you totally, completely. It's a beautiful Monday morning. But as I tell people...
And a public holiday.
Even if it's wet,
yeah,
always see beauty in your mind. And it shall be well with your day.
Of course.
Demo, I like your Benway finishing today.
Thank you.
I commended him when I saw him this morning. I said, you're looking absolutely
he's a gentleman.
Sweet.
I wish I can manage to be like him at least 5 days, 5 hours in a day.
You can. Just try.
With all this my chuku body.
Try and try.
Let's quickly go to the papers now.
Okay.
And we begin with the New Telegraph newspaper. And above the masthead, it's all about the oil, the Dangote refinery. PMS, Dangote refinery releases 16.3 million litres to NNPC Limited. Find the details on page 4. And below the masthead, we have Tinubu, Kalu, governors, others greet Muslims at Eid al-Mawlid. Adequate security measures in place. Find details on 6, 7, and 26. That's coming from the IGP. Shaware briefly detained, released at Lagos Airport. Stop arresting intimidating activists at Jadi council's federal government. FBI, Trump's golf course incident appears to be assassination attempt. Again? Well, you find out in the newspaper what really happened. Edoguba, Bado sues PDP chairman, demands 10 billion naira. Recognizes Edo APC polling collation agent court tells INEC. Details on page 7. And the headlines in the New Telegraph: Forex scarcity forces operators to cannibalize disused airplanes as carriers face existential threat. And with Rider, why 60% aircraft on offshore maintenance can't return. Operators deploy spare price gouging. Scarcity, travelers lament. And beside the picture story of Vice President Kashim Shettima, Governor Kwara State Abdurrahman Abdurazak and others during their visit to IDP camps in Gwada, Shiroro local government area of Niger State over the weekend. Serap sues Tinubu for failing to reverse unlawful fuel price hike. Details on page 4. Echoes of restructuring as Nigerians await president to fulfill campaign promise. Details on 9 and 10. U.S. elections linking me to Trump attempt by APC to curry favor from Democrats. That's coming from OB. FG begins free fuel to CNG vehicle conversion in Ibadan. Details on page 24. Federal government, 281 Maiduguri custodial center inmates missing, with riders, Boko Haram terrorists among escapees. Southwest lawmakers tax governors on security and economy. You find details on 4 and 6. ASU mobilizes support for over 200 victimized members. Says members owe 28-month salary, 120 sacked unjustly. Let's quickly go to the leadership news. We'll have a quite busy front page of these papers today. Above the masthead, we have ASU alleges victimization of members. I've read that. How immigration detained me at Lagos Airport. That's coming from Shore. And below the masthead, Obasanjo Abdusalam Gusau meet IBB in Mina. Find details on page 7. Maulud, Tinubu governors orders felicitate with Muslims. Details on page 7. NNPCL Dangote disagree over price of petrol with riders. We brought fuel from Dangote at 898 naira per litre. Official from NNPC. No, your statement is misleading, mischievous. That's coming from Dangote. 70 trucks load PMS from refinery. Hold Simon Ekpa for terrorism. Army tells UN. Details on page 20. 281 inmates missing in Borno flood. That's coming from the prison authorities. And 4 die of cholera in Adamawa. 36 hospitalized. Details on page 7. Trump safe after gunshots in his vicinity. Find details on page 6. And the picture story you see there, Muslim faithful celebrating Maulud at Ahmadu Bello Stadium in Kaduna yesterday. Demola?
Okay, I have the Nigerian Pilot newspaper with me. And just below that nameplate, we have Femi Falana says, recent school fees increment by federal government illegal. Details can be found on page 7. Then Syrup sues Tinubu over failure to reverse fuel price probe of NNPCL. Details of that story can be found on page 5. And the major headline reads, alleged illegal mining. 5 Chinese arrested. EFCC arrests 5 Chinese nationals for alleged illegal mining. They were arrested in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State Capital following intelligence report. The Chinese were accused of illegally mining mineral suspected to be ilmenite. EFCC says they will be charged to court as soon as investigations are concluded. Details of that story can be found on page 4. And flawed Tinubu sympathizes with Zamfara over death of 40 farmers. Details of that story can be found on page 9. And we have Governor Rada unveils Waste to Wealth initiative in Katsina State. Tinubu urges empathy, compassion to one another during El Malud. And then we have Enugu government bans unapproved medical outreach over safety concerns. And CDS rewards troops with 1 million naira for eliminating notorious Zamfara bandit. Chooks, over to you.
Much ado about Dangote Refinery. Remind me to get material to write a book on that.
Better.
The question you ask yourself is, why would the glorious asset Dangote Refinery should be to us begin to come across as an albatross? What is it about us, about our country, that tells you that the shortest distance between 2 lines is circumlocution? I know I told you I wrote mathematics 3 times and failed it 4 times, but I know about movement, okay?
Yes.
The shortest distance between 2 points must be a straight line. Why do we stand thinking on it? By the way, what caused the stampede and the price hike we have been seeing? Was somebody preparing the ground so that Dangote Refinery will break in when price is at their highest? Then eventually you say, or you can see that now that Dangote is there, we want to make peace, and it is now maybe 900 or 800. Is that the ploy?
Or 1,000.
I said communication is key. Always put your cards on the table. As a father, husband, if you learn to put your cards on the table, most of the time, wives respect husbands. Children respect their parents and all that. So I don't know why this should happen. And even now,
between the 2 of them.
NNPCL and that's where I'm going to. 70 trucks of petrol lifted by NNPCL in fresh dispute. I think that should have been as editorial, misnomer. In the midst of fresh dispute, that's what the paper should have had there with Dangote. What are they fighting about? Are we not thinking for dear white, green, Nigeria? Why do we work at cross purposes with the ultimate good of the Nigerian person out there in the street? What is wrong with us?
Big question.
What is wrong with us?
That is a question that begs for a lot of for answers, all the time.
Well, let us resolve it as soon as we can.
There's a lot of confusion across the country.
Yes.
What part of the story is the actual truth, actually? Because you just can't wrap it around your head trying to find out what is actually going on.
You know what my friend said?
Yes.
My friend said, it seems some people are making us war weary. You get tired of war, so that you can settle for whatever eventually gets. Is that the ploy?
Yes. Say as you see them now, so they understand them.
What them bring, make we do. It shouldn't be that way.
Shouldn't
Look
be that
at
way.
the president said 150 days, no custom dues on the things we eat.
Food, yes.
I went to price a bag of rice 2 days ago. The last time I bought a bag and sent to my mother in the village, that's about a month ago, it was 82,000. They said it's 92,000 now. Who is blocking the president's largesse to us from working, because by now I should have expected the crash of a bag of rice.
We are wicked to ourselves. That is the bottom line. Right now in Maiduguri, after all the flood, people who have foodstuff in the store are selling half bag of rice at 80,000 naira. 80,000 naira.
It is
a
not
pack
right.
A pack of Maggi is 4,000 naira.
It is not right.
So the youth have to go around the stores and tell them that if you dare increase the price again, we're going to shut you down. In the midst of this crisis, people are making money. Does it make sense?
Juma, I try to tell people, keep your religion to yourself.
How much do we hate ourselves in this country?
But the things that happen in Nigeria make me say certain things.
Yes.
On Friday, the place is swarming. The mosque is swarming.
Yes.
On Sunday, it's even, Yet, you begin to ask, who then are the criminals?
I wonder.
What is wrong with us?
I wonder.
How can we preach God with the lips, from
and
the lips,
hearts,
and the hands and the legs are working devilry? Something is wrong with us. An ethical revolution is needed in this country. Something is wrong with us.
Well, something is wrong with us, right? So we need a what is it called now? A rejig.
We need to, every one of us. Because I told you the other time at Uke Karishi, I saw a basket of my darling Conscience who say, no, but that dustbin basket. I saw that dustbin basket, which I paid 14,000 for at Orozo Market. They said it was 10,500, and I rushed to buy. Before the woman poured it, I said, let me check. As she poured it, I saw a basket was within the basket
yes.
of the... This is not a legislator now.
No, listen.
Something is wrong with us, Demola.
Something is wrong with us. Something is wrong with us.
It is corruption, Bobwe.
So, reorientation, man.
We need it. Ethical reorientation.
That is
every one of us.
Okay.
Nigeria must live.
Yes.
So who should lead the...
I used to come here and echo, where is the NOA? The problem is that you don't change adults, really. But you can, submerge them in messaging that will force them to change their negative ways.
In 1 minute, let's look at the flood, in Maiduguri and also in Zamfara, killing people, and it's really sad. And I believe that government is doing a lot to rescue the victims of this flood.
I think the president says
the military, the NGOs, and everybody is working. They said it's more than 1,000 dead right now, and counting. So a lot of people have not been found.
What we always say is, let our actions against flood be more proactive than reactive.
Yes, yes.
But then, let's be fair on the authorities. Europe is being lashed by floods as we speak.
America
Global
by
warming, fire. I've never understood Donald Trump. I don't think I will ever understand him. He's not my kind of person.
No, I mean the fire in California.
No, I'm talking about climate change. It's part of the reason. It is part of what is happening to us now.
Yes.
So we better accept these things. The elements are really pouring wrath on the world.
Okay.
But we can fight it.
Okay, Chooks. We accept you this morning, and we have accepted all your everything that you have said.
I have had robust breakfast again.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
All right, we just draw the curtain on this segment. Good Morning Nigeria continues. Stay with us.
A new edition of TV Guide is out.
This time, we got up close and personal with a transformational legislator, the Deputy President of the Senate, distinguished Senator Barrow Jibrin.
We've created a difference in terms of representation through interventions that have brought an unprecedented infrastructural development to my area.
This edition is a compendium of mind-blowing stories for your reading pleasure, ranging from technology, entertainment, economy, media, politics, family, and lots more.
It is indeed a park of excitement as we take you through every aspect of life. Pick up your copy and get abreast with issues and trending features within our space.
TV Guide, very incisive, very educative and compelling. Grab a copy at the vendor near you or any NTA station nationwide. TV Guide, your indispensable companion. NTA Television College Jos, with a pedigree of producing indelible professionals in the media space and an affiliate of the prestigious Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, for the award of Degree in Mass Communication, calls on prospective candidates to leverage on the following courses it offers for 2024-2025 academic session. BSc Mass Communication, those with minimum admissible score of 180 and above who sat for the 2024 JAMB/UTME and direct entry, while 100 to 179 minimum admissible score can apply for the National Innovation Diploma NID in Film and Television Production, Broadcast Journalism and Television Engineering. For more inquiries, visit our website or call 0803-383-4343. Announcer, Registrar.
We all get that party where they get your back anytime or day. E go carry a matter for head like say na your own. Na so GoTV tanda for your side as your party for correct enjoyment. We not a tear pocket. For this GoTV Super Plus Golden Window, you fit touchlight all the 380 Premier League games, correct local shows, and better film. We day for you. Make your sharply upgrade or recharge your GoTV on top Super Plus to enjoy every today. The Super Plus Golden Window don't come out money now. No do yourself, oh. GoTV. Love it.
Nigeria means a lot to me.
And Nigeria means peaceful cohesion.
My country.
We continue to pray, and then hopefully we will come to understand that unity of purpose, unity of living together.
Our ethnic beliefs and background and culture is our strength.
Ever since the amalgamation period of 1914 to date, about 109 years ago, the people of Nigeria live very peacefully with one another.
I think diversity helps a lot to enhance robust development in Nigeria.
All over the country, you have so many ethnic groups, over 250. That is enough to tell you that this is a blessed country, and God has kept together as one indivisible entity.
The race to qualify for the biggest football competition in Africa is on, the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations. 48 teams in 12 groups, with only the top 2 teams in each group qualifying for the African Cup of Nations in 2025 in Morocco. Don't miss the action, suspense and unrivaled coverage on AfroSport TV and its affiliates partners across Nigeria, starting from September 2024 to November 2024. AfroSport, your freedom of sport.
You're watching Good Morning Nigeria on the network service of the NTA, and to begin our conversation on identity management and national development, here's a background report put together by Oyeyemi Ajayi.
On the 29th August 2019, the federal government of Nigeria gave the approval for the yearly recognition and observance of the National Identity Day. National Identity Management Commission, NIMSI, had announced that September 16 has been approved as a special day by the federal government. The essence was to create awareness on the importance of identification as a modern tool for national development and social cohesion. The choice of the date, September 16, was in recognition of Sustainable Development Goal SDG 16.9, which calls for a legal identity for all, including birth registration, by 2030. As of December 10, 2018, a data analysis organization revealed that 33 million Nigerians were captured in the National Identity Number database, while calling for need to widen the process, as this reflects about 20% of the estimated population of the nation. To ensure that there is a coordinated approach to the identity management process in Nigeria, the federal government had earlier approved the immediate commencement of the implementation of a strategic roadmap for a digital identity ecosystem in Nigeria. This is a framework that leverages on the existing capabilities and infrastructure of distinct government agencies and private sector organizations to carry out enrollment of Nigerians and legal residents into the National Identity Database. A coordinated national digital identity ecosystem for the country has been beneficial to drive financial inclusion, detect fraud, tackle crime, aside resolving identity issues in the country, amongst others, and over time, all these have been achieved and strengthened. The introduction of the National Identity Number, NIN, was a major game changer. The NIN is used to tie all records about an individual in the database and is also used to establish or verify his or her identity. All citizens and legal residents in Nigeria from age 0, that is from birth and above, are eligible to enroll for their names. The importance of NIN reflects along the entire life cycle of individuals in the country as it becomes a veritable document of identification for services. However, many are still calling for better strengthening of the national identity management in the country, such as preventing it from being easily accessed by foreigners to carry out their nefarious activities in the country. Now, what more can be done for the identity management protection in the country? Also, how well has national identity aided national development? Our guests will be answering these questions and more shortly.
Thank you very much, Oyeyemi Ajayi, for that background there. Now joining us to discuss identity management development, national development, I'd like to introduce first Princess Dr. Nkoyo Iwok. She's the Director, Procurement, National Identity Management Commission, NIMC, and Chairman 2024 ID Day Committee. You are welcome to the program.
Thank you so much.
All right. Also joining us is Kayode Adegoke. Kayode Adegoke is the Head Corporate Communications, National Identity Management Commission, NIMC. Kayode, you're welcome to Good Morning Nigeria.
Yeah, good morning Nigerians, good morning NTA, and good morning SARS and Haja. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, thank you.
Don't call me Haja before they come and catch me. And we also have our regular on Good Morning Nigeria always, and it's always a pleasure to welcome you, Mr. Jide Ojo. He's a public affairs analyst. We call each other we are virtual friends actually. We only meet in the studio. Good morning.
It's a pleasure. Good morning.
We meet in the air, now we are in the studio together.
Yeah, I mean, once in a while we should get together.
Inshallah.
You're welcoming the chief Asorogbayi of Nigeria.
That's off camera.
All right. So, okay, let's kickstart our conversation now with Princess. Let's just find out what is the current state of identity management in Nigeria, and how does it impact national development?
Well, thank you so much. The current state of identity in Nigeria is we've come a long way, and so far we have 110 records in our database. 110 million records in our database, and those records are unique, are very unique identities, and it's not something that it can be verified. And it also we collaborate with the security agencies to ensure that a lot of all the security issues are handled. We know there are a lot to do, but we've really done a lot in terms of ensuring that citizens are captured. We ensure that citizens get their national identification number and also use it to access services, because now the federal government is saying that most things are going to be tied to the NIN, and it is very important for them to get that identification number.
It's very important for everybody to have it, actually.
Very, very.
So let's come to Mr. Adegoke. What is the theme of this year, and how is the event going to be like?
Okay, let me start with the theme. The theme is digital public infrastructure, enabling access to services. But first and foremost, let me trace us back to the origin of the National Day of Identity. It started sometimes around 2018, and it was crafted in line with the Sustainable Development Goal 16.9, which affirms legal identity for all. And one of the pinnacles of the celebration or the commemoration of the National Day of Identity is to raise awareness about having a legal identity. because it has been discovered that all over the world, including Nigerians, that there are a lot of people who don't have a legal means of identity. And that is why the National Day of Identity is being commemorated to raise awareness for Nigerians and even legal residents in the country to have a legal identity. And you know, by the Act of Assembly that set up the NIMC, the National Identification Number is a legal identity. So it is compulsory for all Nigerians and legal residents to have it. And when you look at the theme of the event, the digital public infrastructure, the NIN is a digital identifier. It is not an analog identifier. Why did we call it digital? Because it can be verified real-time online, anywhere, anytime. And so for this year, we are saying that with your NIN can enable you to have access to various government services, not only government services, to also the private sector services. For instance, you want to get your passport, you need the NIN. So the NIN enable you to have access to having your passport. Also, if you want to get your SIM card or to replace your SIM with the telcos, you need the NIN. So the NIN is a digital identifier that enable you access to that particular service. Also, for the banking sector, if you want to open an account or you want to upgrade your account, you need the national identification number to do so. So that is why the digital public infrastructure access to services, enabling access to services, means the NIMC, the NIN is enabling the citizens to have access to services and also to affirm their identity legally within a verifiable environment.
Okay, the NIMC helps citizens to have access to facilities and all that. Now, let's bring in Jide Ojo now. Having looked at the importance of this NIMC that is being identified, how does the lack of effective identity management affect economic development?
Of course it does.
Security and social services.
Sure. I think we are a late starter in trying to have unique identity for Nigerians. This whole thing started under President Obasanjo. Many countries, you can't go to US now. Your social security number is, without it, you cannot even access so many services without your social security number. You could visit, but you cannot work. You cannot be gainfully employed unless you do all these behind the scene menial jobs where you get paid in cash. But your financial inclusions, financial services, you cannot be able to access it. So I said Nigeria is a lister because when you even consider the fact that for the first 5 years or thereabout, it was a false start somewhat. I recall that my first registration was in Lagos, but that was cancelled after a while, and we have to do the registration. And this was in the last 3-4 years that it has really become something that has been made compulsory.
It's vital now.
So I even want to commend the agency for having invested about 110 million on us. But that's half of the population if we go by estimates. That's 220 million or over 200 million Nigerians that we claim to be.
Maybe just about half.
That's what I'm saying, that it's about half. But you see, the lack of it, we are shooting ourselves in the foot. Because security-wise, if we don't all cooperate and have our identities, it might be very difficult for security agencies to track the bad guys amongst us. Because, when people do things anonymously, the only way you can identify them is if you have a way of tracking them. And the good news is that NIMC and telecos are cooperating to ensure everybody get registered. So if you want to use your mobile phone I think there was another deadline that was given for yesterday or 2 days ago.
I think today.
14th of September. So today is 16th. That was Saturday. That everybody using mobile phones should have their numbers registered. Because it does help our security agencies if we all cooperate. If you don't have anything, any skeleton in your cupboard, you should be able to voluntarily say, I want to have my national identification number. And then when you look at even the financial inclusion aspect of it, you can't benefit from palliatives, whether it's conditional cash transfer that government is giving and all of that, if you are not NIM compliant, because people want to know your true identity. People do look alike. I mean, you have seen people that's, I think you must be twins, you know. You are just like a carbon copy of each other. But you cannot have two individuals having the same fingerprints. And that's what is captured at registration. So it gives you that unique identity that it becomes very important to, even for your own safety and security, that you are registered. So not complying or being indifferent is actually can be counterproductive for you. I mean, you can't do any examination now, external examinations, if you don't have NIN. Whether UTME, WAEC, WASC, LECO, whatever.
You can't even open a bank account. You can't have anything now, except you have your NIN.
Yeah, so it's gaining traction. It's gaining traction, but I think the good news, because I recall that when the former minister for communication and digital economy, under which NIMSI was operating, you recall during the COVID-19 when it was made compulsory for everybody to register, people were like, oh, this is going to compromise our security. So why is it that can't we have multiple centers and all of that? And I think right now it's been made so easy for you to register, because even at if you want to do your international passport, you can register at the NIS office. So you don't have to necessarily go. When I registered, I had to go to NIMSI headquarters to do that. And it was very hectic. It was very onerous.
Yes.
But now, many more centers have been opened. I think telecoms are also opening. They have also opened registration points. So it's now so seamless that I will encourage everybody to get registered, unless you are the criminal elements amongst them who don't want to be identified. But if you are a law-abiding citizen, a patriotic one, everybody should be
Princess Ewok, Mr. Jide Ojo has sort of laid the foundation to further push this conversation. We have centers mostly in the cities and towns. How deep, as we celebrate this day, how deep have NIMSI gone to the local government areas to sensitize and enlighten people on the need to register this NIN as we celebrate this day, because most people don't even know this day exists, actually.
Thank you.
We've not seen adverts or, sensitization on TV, radio and all that, encouraging people to come out and register, because the way things are going and the way I see things going, you can't do anything if you don't have a NIN in this country now.
Definitely. NIMSI has done a lot in terms of partnering with private sector to ensure that the front end, we partner with the private sector through the front end partnership. So we've licensed some front end partners to go to the local areas and do enrollments for us, because we can't be everywhere, even though we are in all the local governments and state office. So these front end partners are actually in the locality enrolling people, and they are the ones that actually bring in a lot of enrollments.
How effective is it?
Very effective, because we've been able to capture so many Nigerians, which most of them are in the localities where these front-end partners are based. Before, most people have to come to the township to enroll. But front-end partners, we are encouraging them to go to the localities, most of them to entice people when they go to the localities. Some of them give soap, they give things, you know, the villagers like all those little things. It entices them to come out and register.
That's good.
Yeah.
But what are the challenges that maybe your officials face in carrying out this registration? And what do you think, how do you think these challenges can be addressed?
Well, for our officials, I would say one of the challenges that we've encountered, we all know it, is about network. Network is very vital to our work.
Yes.
And in some localities, network is a problem, a very big problem. But we are partnering with, I think, Nicomsat and some other Galaxy Backbone to ensure that we get network in those localities. Some places it's hard to get network.
And so electricity too.
Yes, and then we have power issues.
Yes.
But all the same, NIMSI is doing its best.
Okay,
we can't do all in one day. Yeah. Exactly, we can't do all in one day.
Okay. Kayode, you're the head of corporate communications of NIMSI. So how do you ensure citizen participation, you know, and enrollment in this system?
Okay, thank you. Before I delve into that question, I appreciate what Mr. Jide said, and let me use this medium to thank our President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and then the DG NIMSI, Engineer Bisoye Koka-Odushote. Why am I saying that? In the last couple of months, between last year, August, when the DG Engineer Koka-Odushote assumed the leadership of the NIMSI, a lot of things have changed. For instance, the number of systems that we have now have increased in the thousands. Okay. The President, through the DG, have been able to get us more systems, especially Android enrollment systems, the mobile enrollment devices, mobile, not fixed, to take to those interlands. And also, one of the cardinal points of Mr. President is to strengthen the identity database in the country. And the President has given us so many legal and political backing to say that for every services you use now, NIN is a compulsion. For instance, like Mr. Jide said, to write exams, to write UTME, to write WASC and so on, NIN is compulsory.
Even for birth registration.
Even for birth registration. And if you look at it, we are collaborating with the National Population Commission for birth registration. So that once you are registering at birth, you also have your NIN at birth. And also, what we are doing, what the DG has done, is to take enrollment further to the diaspora. Now we are in over 70 countries in the diaspora, so that Nigerians don't. Yes, more than
all over the world.
We're all over the. So that Nigerians don't need to come home and say, "I want to register." Wherever you are, you can register. For instance, let me give you an example. Like in the US and Canada, which are big and large nations, we have in the US alone, we have almost 1,000 enrollment centers spread across different states, counties, and everywhere in the US. Same thing with Canada, because we noticed that, for instance, for a Nigerian to travel from Florida to New York is far. So in that case, in Florida, in Miami and other counties, we have enrollment centers. So the DG has done that. And going back to your question, I am writing my thesis on mass media and citizens' engagement in the national identity system. And one of the things I discovered is that to create awareness and mobilize Nigerians, we need the media. Yes. Media are very, very key.
That's what we're doing now.
Exactly, they are very key. In time past, maybe because of some infrastructural challenges, we are unable to do that. But in the last couple of months, like I said, since the assumption of Engineer Bisoye Koka, you will notice that we have stepped up our media engagement. Now, we have regular media conversation with our media partners. We call them our strategic partners. Not only that, we are doing some paid advert in TV stations, including NTA, and radio stations, TV, also doing engagement on the social media platform. So what we want to do is that, because for Nigerians in the locality you mentioned, we need the media. And the media will help us to do what we call the two-step flow of communication. The media, because the media will be informed, the media will help us to engage, because it is not only to raise awareness, it's also to mobilize. Yes. And you cannot mobilize the citizens without engagement. The engagement includes, where do we go and register? The engagement includes, why do I need to register? The engagement includes, okay, if I register, what do I use the NIN for? So the media will do that for us. One-on-one communication might not be able to do what the media is doing. So in the last couple of months, we have raised our media awareness. We are doing more, and in the next couple of months, we will do more. Our goal is, if you look at the DG 5-point agenda, the goal is to enroll all Nigerians within the shortest possible time. In this SDG goal, the plan is by year 2030, every citizen must have a legal identity. But 2030 is far. So the DG's plan is that in the next couple of years, few years, we should be able to enroll all Nigerians, not only Nigerians, legal residents in the country. Because without the need, like Mr. Jide said, you can't access government services again. Not only government services. For the security agencies, the need is important for them. And I must commend them. I won't lie to you.
Okay, Kayode, is it only the media that you are collaborating with? What about the community leaders?
In fact,
what about the church, religious, and traditional leaders?
Okay.
Because you need to also collaborate with them for you to be able to reach to the people, especially the hard-to-reach areas.
Okay, let me emphasize. We have what we call a 360-degree engagement model.
Okay.
The 360-degree engagement model, which NIMSI is using, is to engage all stakeholders, either critical or subcritical. And for us, if you look at it, what we've been doing is to go to churches, to go to mosques, and to go to traditional places of worship, not only to raise awareness, but to also enroll. If you look at some mosques on Fridays, after Jumat, we put enrollment centers there. Churches on Sunday, once they come out, we put enrollment centers so that
actually I got enrolled in the church.
Okay, so you see. So then schools now, we are taking our strategy since January this year is to take our enrollment devices to schools, because we noticed from our system that the bulk of the people that have not been enrolled are the children below 16. And so what we are doing now is to take the system to schools. So now schools are resuming. They resumed last week, but majority of them will resume tomorrow. So our plan is we have engaged our FEPs to go to schools to start enrollment. Also traditional institutions. We are making use of all traditional rulers. Like today's program, the traditional institutions will be represented. They're also coming. They're not only the traditional institutions, even the NGOs. There are so many NGOs that we're engaging with, and they are helping us, especially in the, let me give you an example, in the Northeast. What we are doing is to engage with the NGOs, the foreign and local ones.
We have the Norwegian Refugee Commission.
Yes.
That's partnering
with us. So
the Foundation.
Yes, we go to the IDP camps to also enroll the internally displaced persons. So we are not leaving any stone unturned. Then not only that, I'll give you an example. Like in Lagos and other states, we partner with the road transport people, so that in the park you will see a enrollment system. Because these people are also critical to us. And also, we have engagement with the Nigerian Correctional Services, whereby we also enroll all inmates across the country. So we have what we call the 360 engagement model of engaging our stakeholders.
Okay, sorry, just a moment, Jumai. Just one more question, because some people are still skeptical about this identity number. Why? Because they are afraid that the carelessness, all these hackers, they may have access to their details. So what, protection have you put in place, the agency has put in place to protect, citizens' data and, prevent identity theft?
Okay, thank you for that question. We have said it at several fora that the identity, especially the name of Nigerians, are secured and safe. One of the things we have done is to provide the top-notch security architecture.
Okay.
And that is why I can tell you our database is foolproof. Okay. Well, in time past, there were so many noise here and there. We were able to debunk it. We were able to come out with facts. And I want to tell Nigerians, identity, like Mr. Jide said, it's not about your face alone. The critical aspect of identity is the biometrics. Kayode and Mr. Jide, we might be twins. We might look alike. And people say, we don't know who is Taye, who is Kehinde. But for you to identify who Taye is from Kehinde, you need my biometrics. So we are showing Nigerians the biometrics, the demographics are safe, the data are safe in our database. Recently, we were awarded the highest certification in the security, the ISO certification, but highest all over the country. And it was done by an international agency. And every time, like I said, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has done a lot for us. we have been able to improve our existing infrastructure in terms of our database, and we are doing that consistently and continuously. So we assure Nigerians, for us, the data is safe and secure.
Right. But before I go to Jide, I still want to stay with you. You know, about off air before we started this conversation, I was asking you a question about the NIN slip, because most of us have the slip without the card itself. So how can people who have slip, you know, transit to getting the card? How do you get the card? And what are the features in the card that will enhance the security of the person who has the card itself?
Okay, thank you so much. Well, the NIN, the National Identification Number, is the most unique aspect of the identification system. Now, on the slip, you have the NIN. And that's why we say keep your NIN safe. Whatever services you want to access, it is the NIN that will be asked, not the card. However, the card is equally important because it gives like a physical identification to what you have done. Now, what we are coming out with in the next couple of months, very soon, we will inform Nigerians. We are going to launch what we call the revamped and improved version of the General Multipurpose Card. Okay. Now, this card has several applications. One of the applications is for financial inclusion. For instance, Mr. Jide mentioned the Social Security safety net when he talked the other time. Now, Mr. President wants Nigerians to have access to some form of relief. And this card might play a pivotal role in doing that. So this card, when it is launched by Mr. President, every Nigerian have the opportunity to get the card. Unlike what we witnessed in the past, the process is going to be streamlined and seamless. Seamless in the sense that we are partnering with the CBN, the Central Bank of Nigeria, and NIPS, that is Nigerian Interbank Settlement System, to make sure that this card is available to all Nigerians, not only through NIMSI offices, but also through the bank branches network. For instance, if you want to get your own card, you can go to any of your bank branches, apply for it, and the card will be given to you. Unlike what we witnessed in the past, if you want it to be delivered to your house, you can apply it to be done so. Also, we'll provide an online portal platform whereby at the comfort of your home office, you can also apply for this card. You can give your address. It might cost you a token for it to be delivered, the delivery fee, it will be delivered to you. And the card, it has what we call almost 19 or over 19 security features on it, so that it will be difficult for you to hack. And not that we are resting on our ours, we are also improving the security features. The card will come with a chip. The chip is because of the financial, so that you can use it to withdraw money on your ATM. You can use it to transfer money for financial.
So you won't need the ATM.
No, you will.
No, of
course. You will, of course, you will. But we are saying, in addition to using it as a physical affirmation of your identity, also the chip, the NIN is embedded in the chip. Your data is also embedded in. So it can be readable. There are some machines all over the world, they can read your data. But reading it does not mean your data is exposed. No, it is secured. You can only read it, but you cannot access it.
Some Nigerians will say how seamless, because they will say, why do I need to go and do all these things, you know, go and apply, and why don't I just take my slip and collect my card?
Okay, because this time around, in the last, maybe like 3-4 years ago, we printed millions of cards, and we noticed that a lot of these cards are still in our offices. We've sent SMS, email, phone calls for people. They don't want to collect it. So this time around, it's going to be on need base. Okay. If you need the card, you apply, we give to you. If you don't need, no issue. But I want to assure Nigerians that you will love the card. You will need the card. So once the card is launched by Mr. President, I appeal to Nigerians to apply for the card. Within 24 hours, you have the card available.
It should be very easy to get.
Very easy. Very easy.
Without any monetary charge or whatever?
Well, that will be determined because we are partnering with the bank.
Okay. All right. Let's bring in Jide Ojo now. Jide, how do other countries, other climes, manage their identity, and what lesson can Nigeria learn from them?
Of course, I earlier spoke about the US system, which everybody knows. But most advanced countries have raised the bar to the point that, and I think this was also mooted in Nigeria, first at inception and even under the immediate past administration of President Buhari. I'm privileged to conversation that this card was intended to be a multi-purpose, one-stop card for people to do numerous transactions.
Yeah.
I was privileged to observe election in Egypt in 2014. Did you know that you don't need voter's card in Egypt? You don't need it. Once you are 18, you are flagged. An SMS is sent to you that you are now qualified to vote. You use your national ID card in Egypt. Quote me. You need your national ID card to just go and vote. So you can just imagine how much we can save if we perfect this system, that we are able to capture everybody, and NIMSI can collaborate with INEC to say, okay, for Edo or Ondo governorship election, these are the people who have qualified, in addition to those who already have their cards. You understand? So all this interagency rivalry, okay, I pick a driving license, 1, I bank debit cards, 2, then I have voter's card, 3.
You have so many cards, carrying so many cards.
In your purse, you're having like 5, 6, 7 cards for different purposes.
Then you have your ATM cards as well.
That's what I'm saying. So you can have an integrated system that you don't necessarily have to have multiple cards. I mean, there could be an exception. You may not be able to have it as your international passport. But it could serve several other. I mean, why can't it be used as a debit card? Instead of you to have a separate debit card, you know, to have your debit or to credit. But
because the debit card expires.
Yeah, well, debit card expires. This does not expire. But what I'm saying is that given the level of technology and where the global system has been, there are so many integrations. And I think Mr. Kayode can bear me witness. President Buhari actually set up a committee to integrate, harmonize. About 5 years ago, that was a presidential order. I don't know where they are, whether they succeeded, whether there was stumbling blocks, whether there was roadblock, but I knew that there was a presidential order for this data to be integrated, so that Nigerians can have a seamless services. So that is where we should be, and I'm glad by many of the information that the my people from NIMSI have been able to tell us where they are headed in the next couple of months, and efforts that they have made for seamless registration or enrollment. I think as we look towards that, getting everybody, maybe in another 3-5 years, we should look at how to reduce the number of cards that Nigerians will have to carry. That way, it also helps, because when you have that kind of incentives, that's when people will see the need to have this. Do you know that many people will collect voter's card despite not wanting to vote? But they know that if they want to travel within the country and they are looking for means of identification, they will just bring it up.
Voter's card.
So that's all they want to do with their voter's card. But you know, if you have a card that serves you, you know, in different ways, it could also be an incentive to get people to voluntarily, willingly, without being coerced, without being cajoled, to also participate in that process. So, and if we can get to the level of where US has been as a social security number, it's very key, because that has helped US in managing security. You understand? Your social security number, wherever you are within the US, you can be tracked.
So would you say that there is need for a policy framework, you know, to further strengthen our management of identity in this country?
Of course. I mean, the biggest room in the world, I mean, you can always better your best. Whether it's policy, whether it's legal framework, whatever that is needed to make NIMSI to be 24th century compliant is advisable. And I like the proactiveness of the new DG. And I pray that God will sustain her and that he will continue to get the cooperation and the resources she needed. Because I really didn't know that we even have over 70 countries across the world where you could seamlessly go and
register
enroll as a Nigerian without having to travel back home. And you know, as we talk about diaspora voting, in the nearest future, I mean, there's a push for it, even for 2027, that why shouldn't Nigerians in diaspora vote?
That's why creating awareness is so vital in this, you know.
Exactly. That's why it's very
because
important.
if you have not mentioned it now, it's part of awareness.
Exactly.
You know, people knowing that you have
that even across the country,
in the diaspora
outside
and
of
all
the
that.
country, you can actually register without having to travel back to Nigeria. So if you are able to look at the future, and I think it's also good to draw inspiration and adaptation from other countries that have used this to solve their security challenge. They have used it for financial inclusion. They have used it for even identification purposes, because it's very key. Even in case of missing person, you know, it could come handy, because and the good news about this is that even if you don't know your NIN, you can use shortcode to get it. Yes. Star 346 hash, and it will come.
Yes.
So you don't have to memorize it.
Okay.
You don't have to memorize it.
So you have short code for that.
Yeah, there is a short code.
What's the short code for it?
Star 346 hash.
Okay.
On the mobile number you registered with.
Exactly. It has. I've done it a number of times. Yes. So
Star 346 hash.
Okay.
He wants to contribute.
Star what?
Star 346 hash.
Star 346
I will try it now. I will try it now. And let's see how it goes.
Let's talk about inclusive citizenship now and social services, border security and management, because Nigeria has porous borders, actually. And, you know, people can cross in from Cameroon, cross in from Niger, you know, and come into Nigeria. Some of them are even born here. They're practically Nigerians, and they can register this NIN. How do you find out that they are not Nigerians? How do you differentiate between Nigerians and the aliens coming into the country to register NIN? For security reasons, yes.
We are partnering and harmonizing with the Nigerian
it came out. Sorry.
Immigration Service.
It came out.
Oh, so
I just did it now.
Also, your number came out.
And the process came out, but I had to pay 20 naira to get it.
Of course, it's not free.
So, Princess, let's talk about the border management and immigration here now.
Okay, you know, immigration has a responsibility of the borders.
Yes.
So we have the responsibility of providing the need.
Yes.
And that's why that harmonization between Nigerian Immigration Service and NIMSI is vital. And that's what we've done. So immigration now works in partnership with NIMSI and is able to use our NIN to be able to manage border security and also trace people who are not Nigerians. However, our law says we should register legal residents. So it is important too to ensure that immigration also checks whether they are legal residents or not. So we can't take the job of immigration to do it.
Yes.
But in partnership and working in harmony, we'll be able to achieve that.
Yeah, I mean, managing border security, you see, that's the catch-22. Legal resident. It didn't say only Nigerians.
Okay.
So, will people be truthful at registration to say, I'm a Nigerian, I'm a Chadian, I'm a Cameroonian, I'm a Beninois, I'm a Togolese, I'm a Ghanaian? Will people be truthful? It's now left to the conscience of every individual, because by name you cannot distinguish anybody.
Yes.
By face, by look, by mode of dressing, you can't. Until people are able to tell you, and you know that's also the challenge INEC faces. INEC would do continuous voter registration or voter registration, and you have people who are not Nigerians coming to register, and it took the support of NIS, Nigerian Immigration Service, to help to identify some of these people, but you can only do the limit you can. The most important thing is that let's even welcome them. Let's have them on the database.
Okay.
Because exactly, because if they didn't register and they commit a crime, they can escape.
Escape, yes.
But if they are registered, and of course, you know, with your registration and your mobile number, it's easy for you to be tracked anywhere you are. Anywhere you are. Unless you are not using mobile phone.
Okay.
Anywhere you are, if you are using a mobile phone, the level of technological advancement has gotten to, it's not available to every Tom, Dick, and Harry, but the security architecture of Nigeria has it. Even if you switch off your phone,
yes, you can still
they can tell you exactly the house number, the building that person is. It helps with managing security. I think those who want to evade or will not want to register are the bad guys.
Yes.
Who will want to remain anonymous, who don't want to have any official tracking of their identities or means. And that's why I think citizens should please support NIMSI to succeed. All these registrations we are asked to do, a clear conscience fears no accusation. If you know you are a patriotic citizen, there is nothing to be afraid of. Because it can also come handy in helping you in moment of crisis. If you are registered and they can have a means of tracking you.
Those are some of the education that that you need to create. You know,
let me give you. Let me
really
give you.
Educate the public.
Demola, let me give you an instance. When the security agencies were going to rescue those 20 medical students that were kidnapped in Benue, is it not their mobile numbers they will track?
Exactly.
It's when they get their numbers, they know where these numbers are.
Yes.
Even in the forest.
True.
You understand? Even in the forest. So, and with that, they can also flag their identities.
True.
You understand? Because it's already linked.
Yes,
I don't know whether I'm confusing you.
No, you're making a point.
So it's linked.
We're still saying the same thing. And that brings us to the point again of, creating, adequate awareness amongst the populace. Today is the 2024 ID Management Day. I mean, what are some of the activities lined up for today, and what are the expectations?
Okay, today is our National Identity Day, and we have about some African countries that have come in, because Nigeria is like a bride that they all look up to in Africa. So we have Ethiopia, we have Sudan, we have Sierra Leone, and Cote d'Ivoire. They are all here for the day to also witness what we are doing. Also for today, we have 4 panel sessions. It's going to also be an intellectual day, not just coming and saying speeches and going. So we have 4 panel sessions with different topics that we are going to be talking about. So it's going to be very interesting. You're all invited. We're starting by 9, and I hope you'll be there.
How participatory, I mean, is it only for the high-class people?
No.
What about the general people, the public? Everybody is invited.
It's an open-door event.
Okay.
Yes, we have registration that has gone in, but it doesn't mean that if you come in, you cannot register at the registration decks.
Okay, Mr. Adegoke, we talked about community leaders, traditional leaders being part of this event. What about the youths?
Okay, yes.
I think you wanted to add.
Okay, I wanted to add to what
Princess
said. That yes, the event might be strictly by invitation. However, we are going to streamline it live on all our social media platforms, the NIMSI website, NIMSI official website, NIMSI Facebook page,
Twitter,
Instagram
X.
page. Yes, X. So it's going to be live. But like you said, Mr. Jide, Mr. Ademolaja, you are welcome. Once you come, we have a QR code. You scan it to register online. The essence is also for security to know those who attended. So you understand, we're identity management, so we should be able to identify those who are attending the program. And the program too is, we have several guest speakers, but the chief host, is Engineer Bisi Ekoka, but the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is going to be the chief guest speaker for the occasion. So we have the Senate President, the SGF, the Speaker House of Rep, they're all coming. We have traditional rulers, we have governors, we have the youth, like you said, from the Nigerian Youth Councils, we have representative, the Minister of Youth and Sports is also coming. Then, for the engagement of the youth, what we are doing, if you look at the population spread, we have over 50% of our population within the youth bracket, what I call like maybe between the 0 to 35, thereabout. 70%. 70%, yes, thereabout. So for us, that's our focus. And that's why in the next, between now and next year, we are going to come up with we call it a comprehensive communication plan. Our target will be the youth. Because we notice that is where our enrollment, like that's where,
the bulk of the population
that
actually
have not enrolled. Because if you look at the spread, 50 and above, almost 98% have enrolled. Yes. But below 20, we have fewer, especially below 16. We have fewer people that have registered. So our engagement will be with the youth. So what we want to do is we want to partner universities, colleges of education, polytechnics, higher institutions of learning, secondary schools, primary school. And that is why we ran a competition we call it a logo. The logo, submission of new logo for NIMSI. What we did was just to thematize it within the youth. Primary school, secondary school, and higher institution. Because that is part of our strategic engagement system.
And the winners have been invited for today's
Some people are even advocating for public-private partnership to enhance, this enrollment. How are you considering that at all?
That's what we are doing. Princess mentioned it earlier.
Doing it. We have front-end partners.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
not only the front-end partners.
We've been talking
the telcos.
Yes.
Okay.
Telcos, they are private.
Yes, they are private.
So we're also partnering with them for enrollment. When you go to any of the telco offices now, you will see our enrollment system there.
And you're partnering with NTA now.
Yes, we're partnering with NTA. I know NTA has always been our strategic partner. Our core strategic
So we've talked about the theme and how the event is going to roll out. We've not talked about the venue.
The venue is at the NAF Conference Center.
Okay.
Kado, Abuja.
Okay, Kado, Abuja.
Yes, it's starting by 9 a.m. And like Princess said, it's going to be an intellectually stimulating and engaging session.
So it's a one-day
It's a one-day event. But one-day event, but it's a continuous exercise. Because identity is a continuous exercise. And for us, we must continue to raise awareness about identity. I must continue to mobilize people to go and enroll, get their NIN, not only getting NIN, but ensuring that this NIN is used to access services. So NIN is not just in isolation, just like in the US. The social security number, if you want to be employed, you need your social security number. If you want to do anything in the US, the social security number is very key.
Okay.
So, and that is what we are doing now. And that is what Mr. President has mandated as part of the Renew Hope agenda, that strengthening of identity, the digital identity, is key and compulsory.
Is key and compulsory.
Most people say that when you have the...
our team is digital public infrastructure, enabling access to services.
Okay. Jide Ojo, what about what would you say would be the takeaways or recommendations from all this?
Well, it's been, we have alluded to it. I think strategic communication that Mr. Adegoke has harped on is very important. People need to look at what are the benefits of being an enrollee. What do they stand to gain? Until they start seeing that, particularly, it's also good that you are looking at the demographics and you have realized that the youth are the ones that are hesitant to get on the enrollment, because they've really not seen themselves and seen to what advantage or benefits they stand to gain by being this. So what I will, in terms of strategic communication, is about having a targeted messages to schools, primary, secondary, tertiary institutions about, you know, what they stand to gain, what security-wise, in terms of financial inclusion, in terms of access of social services, or even, you know, all manner of wide range of services, and what the future portends, you know, if they want to be part of the 21st century. You know, for me, even though we are not where we ought to be, we are not where we used to be, if the kind of vision that and the kind of zeal and enthusiasm that have been displayed by NIMSI in the last 5 years, if it had been there since the early 2000s when it was started, we will have captured everybody.
All right.
But I think it was a mixture of 4 stars, you know, no clear focus or no priority attention.
Now there is focus.
Now there is focus. Now there is attention. Now there is resources. Now there is partnership. So the partnership now needs to be concretized and make sure that all those people, the 360-degree partnership that which Mr. Adegoke has spoken glowingly about is consolidated upon.
Okay, consolidated upon. Okay, Jide, thank you very much for your contribution there. Because of time, we have another conversation coming up shortly.
I have a question.
Maybe you just have 60 seconds.
Yes, it's very fundamental. As we try to capture people who are living, a lot of people have died who have NIN numbers. So how can these numbers be reclaimed? Because a lot of people die and they are not registered, you know. Yeah. It's a very fundamental question.
Okay, before I answer that question, in addition to a quick one to the youth engagement, the strategic initiative by Mr. President to provide loans or make accessible to students all over through the NER fund is one of the ways NIMSI is partnering with the youth. Because to access the loan through NER fund, you need the NIN. So it's compulsory. And also for agricultural sector, we are partnering with the Ministry of Agriculture. Any youth that want to engage in agriculture must have the NIN. So it's part of the engagement. Now, coming back...
register.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Okay, the question on
people who have died who have NIN, because we've seen in movies where people take people like in abroad.
It's part of the NIMSI Act that the NIN will be rested upon the death of the NIN owner.
That is if you know.
But, no, that's what I'm saying. But the NIN will not be transferred to another person. It's only to an individual until the person dies and the NIN will be rested. However, we are working with the National Population Commission. We told you that very soon, before death certificate is issued. The NIN must. There's a process for you to rest your NIN. So that is one of the ways we are working with the National Population Commission, so that we will know those.
It's not reissued.
It's not reissued. So it's one of our, in the next couple of months, you will see some of these projects coming up. Before the death certificate is issued, the NIN must be stated clearly, so that NIMSI can rest the NIN and remove it from the system. Yes.
Okay. Princess, your parting words.
My parting word is that we want all of you to be there today and engage. The DG CEO is expecting that today's event is going to be a very intellectual one, and she has put in a lot to ensure that today's event comes out with international world-class standard. So I'm sure NTA will be there to cover us.
Of course, yes.
And for Nigerians to see how far the DG has gone in her 1 year in office.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Princess Dr. Nkoyo Iwok, the Director, Procurement, National Identity Management Commission, NIMSI, and Chairman 2024 ID Day Committee. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wish you success in your event for today. Also, I want to thank Kayode. Kayode Adegoke, Head Corporate Communications, National Identity Management Commission, NIMSI. You still have so much to talk about, but we can't finish all the discussion at a go.
Mine is just to thank Nigerians for their unflinching support and steadfast towards the success of the national identity.
All right, they have
heard.
And
also to thank our strategic partners.
Okay, Nigerians have heard. Thank you so much for coming. So we'll still have you more time for more discussion. And our regular public analyst, Jide Ojo, thank you as usual.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Good morning,
Nigerians. All right. We'll take a break now. Our second conversation will come up after this break. Stay with us.
The federal government of Nigeria wants vandals of national assets, electricity transmission towers, cables and other facilities to desist from this act of sabotage. Vandalism is a serious crime punishable under the law. Vandalizing electrical equipment will affect millions of Nigerians, including your loved ones. Remember that national assets belong to all of us, hence the need to protect them. Report all cases of suspicious movement around electrical facilities to security agencies. When you see something, say something. This message is from the Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation in collaboration with the National Counter-Terrorism Center, NCTC, Office of the National Security Advisor.
I think Amaka should just move out of the house. Yes.
No. Standing out of the house is not the right thing to do.
Oh, there you go again with your sentimental family stuff.
Baby, if our aim is to stop this affair, it is best achieved under our roof.
You do something terrible and you'll be acting innocent.
What are you going on about?
Don't ask me that question again. You couldn't even control yourself in the presence of our visitors.
What are you accusing me of, woman?
My son, I don't know how serious you are with my daughter, but there's something that needs to be done urgently before you move any further.
Anything, just anything, just say it. I'm ready to do anything.
There is a spell that needs to be removed.
A spell?
Family forever, the story of our lives.
The counsel of our fathers.
I will urge and advise our younger generation to use talent and brain to sort out problems, not arms.
Nigerian youths, let's build our nation together.
You have to move from the point where you protect and defend your religion to a point where you also recognize the rights of the other person, of the other religion, and protect it. So if I am protecting my own territory and my own people and trying to emphasize their rights and protect their rights, I should also be thinking about how to protect the rights of the others.
Both Islam and Christianity recognize and defer to God, and both recognize the temporariness of the life of this world, and that ultimately we all go back to God for the day of reckoning, when everybody will render an account of his life on this temporary abode.
The race to qualify for the biggest football competition in Africa is on. The 2025 Africa Cup of Nations. 48 teams in 12 groups, with only the top 2 teams in each group qualifying for the African Cup of Nations in 2025 in Morocco. Don't miss the action, suspense and unrivaled coverage on AfroSport TV and its affiliates partners across Nigeria, starting from September 2024 to November 2024. AfroSport, your freedom of sport.
If you're just joining us, this is Good Morning Nigeria. And in the second part of our program today, we are shining the spotlight on the game changers, innovations, and trailblazers, and who are revolutionizing the way we approach talent development.
Yes, the Champions of Talent Development Conference 2024 brings together visionaries, thought leaders, and practitioners from around the world to share insight, strategies, and best practices in unlocking human potential.
And from cutting-edge technologies to inclusive workforce development, the conference is the premier platform for exploring the latest trends, challenges, and opportunities on talent development.
And our next conversation, debates, and discoveries are expected to shape the future of work, education, and innovation. We are now being joined in the studio by two guests. First, I'd like to introduce Aderele Onikosi, Chairman, Champions of Talent Development Conference. Onikosi, you're welcome to Good Morning Nigeria.
Thank you so much for having us this morning.
You look like a champion.
Thank you for the kind compliment. It's good to be here.
And we also have here in the studio Hajias Adatu Farouk, Abuja Regional Chair and Conference Vice Chair. Ironically, we are wearing the same colors this morning. Good morning. It's good to have you.
Good to have you. Good morning. Nice to be here. Thank you. Good morning, Nigeria.
Okay, let's start with the chairman of the Champions of Talent Development, Onikosi. What actually informed or inspired this champion talent development?
Okay, so I just give a quick background.
Okay.
Okay, so the community, the network itself began when about 9 Nigerians attended a conference in Orlando, Florida, in the U.S. in 2011, a talent development conference. And then they came back and said, look, let's have a community of talent management, talent development experts, where we can share knowledge, share experiences, and global best practice in learning and development. And so that was how Learning and Development Network International came into being. And then the journey started. We said, okay, let's have more like an annual convocation in the country and say, let's have different experts come to speak to the subject of talent development, right? In other terms, it's also known as training and development. In other parlance, it's the same thing as manpower development. And another balance is training and development, learning and development, manpower development. It's all saying the same thing. And so that has happened, and that's what gave back to the Champions of Talent Development Conference, an annual conference. And the idea is to bring about the champion that is in every individual, every employee, every person adding value, either at the private sector level or public sector, towards a national development. And so that was what gave back to the CTD. And this year is the 10th edition. And interestingly, this is the first time it's coming to the capital city, Abuja.
Abuja. So where has it been held before?
Lagos.
Okay, Lagos. So now you're in Abuja.
Yes.
I had just added to, let's look at how crucial this talent development is to today's economy. We have a hub of talents. 70% of Nigerians are youth today are talented. We can see them, in every sector. Is it television? Is it film? Is it talent hunt? They're all over the place. So how crucial is it to the economy? What can they bring to the country?
Thank you very much.
Just a moment, just one.
Yes.
How do you define talent?
Yes, first.
Okay. The ability to excel beyond expectation.
Okay.
Talent. So, and if you look at the LDNI, what's our mantra? We empower leaders through learning. So that's to even tell you that as a leader, the knowledge you can manage is what will make you excel. And that is the crucial nature of learning and development. You cannot stop learning until you die.
Yes.
The day you stop learning, that's the end. So learning for me is very pivotal to every person, every sector, every industry, every platform. Today, why are we here today? It's because of learning. If you and I didn't learn, we wouldn't be here. So you can't underestimate the power of learning. And that's what informed our theme for this year, that says we're igniting national sustainable national development through learning and development.
Okay.
So you cannot underestimate learning. It's very pivotal to the development of individuals, persons, and leaders.
Okay.
Does that serve?
Learning is very pivotal
It's
to
pivotal,
the
yeah.
development. And the moment you stop learning, you
You're
start
dead.
dying.
Dying, yes.
That is just the thing. But what are the challenges that, that you face or that are embedded in this talent development professionals today?
Capability. One of the major challenge. And I say capability because the learning in itself is an evolving thing. And the fluidity of learning is around how much you can put in yourself. So if you are unable to build skills and upskill, you're actually going to nowhere. And I will tell you that because that is not being quantified in Naira and Kobo, it is so difficult for those who are supposed to promote learning to give it all that it desires and it deserves. So, what are we telling learning and development professionals? Take your space, own it, put the value, let it be in Naira and Kobo. How does it get into Naira and Kobo? The time I put in, the learning I put in, the skills I bring in, the development I bring in, the capability I build to make every space safe and very productive for all industry players and organizations and even the persons.
So where are your target audience here?
Almost everybody is our target audience because everybody needs to learn and upskill and upskill. But most importantly, we're talking to learning and development professionals.
Okay. Mr. Oniko, so let's bring you in again. How can organizations, just like he said, that you have to, encourage organizations, to develop, talent and all that. How can organizations effectively attract and retain top talents in a competitive environment like we have in Nigeria?
Thank you. If you don't have value for something, you will not appreciate it. So the biggest challenge that we see, especially around organizations in learning and development, is that it is considered to be a disposable skill. And that's where we lack an understanding that even as a nation, we cannot grow beyond the capacity and capabilities of our people. How much do we know beyond certificates? So you will agree with me that Nigerians, we have a craze for certificates. But there's a difference between getting a certificate and having skills and being skillful and mastering your craft such that your craft become a value add. I come from a background of computer engineering, but I'm a talent and development professional more than 20 years.
And a champion too.
And that, right? More than 20 years.
Yeah.
So I developed the skills and expertise. And that skills and expertise is what I bring to the table that makes organizations to pay me, to say, look, you have something that we need. And that's the point we must get to as a nation. So that even our young population, like you mentioned, the 70% of the population in Africa is under the age of 20. Yeah. But then can we also connect that to productivity? The productivity is low. Why? The learning is low. And why is the learning low? We need to begin to change how we learn. Those are some of the things we do in LDNI. How do we learn? It's not just what we're learning. How do we learn? And then we now talk about what are the challenges we have as a nation, so that we can structure our learning, our curriculum to solve those problems. And not just to learn so that we can regurgitate and write down and then pass an examination. And then you have a master's. But then beyond the master's, there is no value that you bring to the table.
Okay.
So this is what we're doing by empowering our leaders through learning.
Okay, talking about skills, yes, okay, go ahead.
Some people are watching now, some youths are watching and are thinking, how do I actually develop these my skills that they are talking about now? What are the processes for developing skills for the youth, especially to enhance their capacity?
So one of the quickest, area to look at is mentoring and coaching. And at LDNI, we have such platforms for even undergrads and people who are our youth. And we encourage those who are successful professionals to say, look, guys, you need to get into mentoring and coaching younger people, because they need to see that what they are trying to accomplish, some people are doing it. And so they can leverage on what you have done. We don't have to keep reinventing the wheel. If we keep doing that, it means we're not a learning nation. Because a learning nation will keep building and riding on the shoulders of those who have gone ahead. So the quickest win is coaching and mentoring. And to say, okay, and in a structured way. Because again, we have young people who don't even know who to go to for coaching or mentoring or where to go to.
Exactly. Mentoring is very, very important. We were having a conversation with my sister just over the weekend, and I was saying, growing up in the Northeast, growing up in the North, actually, and I told her, wow, I wish we had mentors then who could guide us, just go, hold us by the hand and tell us, do this, do that. I told her we would have been
probably gone
way beyond where we are today. Yes, and talking about skills itself, what skills do you think Hajiya Sa'adatu will be most in demand in the next 5 to 10 years? And when I talk about skills, Nigerians will say skills. When they get the skills, they japa. They leave the country where these skills are recognized. Some people have the skills, but they don't have somebody who will hold them by the hand and say, let me teach you how to make the best use of it.
Okay, the future is so digitalized. It's already now.
Yes.
And in another 5 years, imagine the microscopic approach to dealing with issues. So IT skills, very important. Very, very important. People have to be very dynamic and become very adaptable. Everybody. Then there has to be this deliberate and intentional approach to letting the young ones know the importance of learning and how it tallies with information technology and computer literacy.
Okay. Yeah, because I was actually going to ask that question. How will AI, we are in the era of artificial intelligence and automation. So emerging technology, how do we use that to impact the development? Would you want to say, or Nico say? Okay.
Okay, so let me go ahead and talk about it.
Go ahead.
So each time I hear stuff, the future is digital. There's no future.
It's now.
It's now.
I remember I was speaking at a conference for young people a couple of years ago, and they gave me a topic, the future of. And when I came in, the first thing I said is, you don't have a future. And they were wondering. I said, no, you don't have a future. Because yesterday, somebody called today the future.
Yeah.
And we're here right now. So this is the future, and the future is already digital. The future is AI, so that every sector, every career you want to pursue must be driven with technology, with AI.
Yes.
Right?
Everything.
And so it's important not just to get a degree, because that's the challenge that I see. I keep mentioning that because I got a degree, right, in electrical engineering. Awesome. I have colleagues who are doing amazing stuff. But you know what? I discovered that that's not how I'm going to be able to contribute effectively to national development. I love to be in the people development space. So I redirected my path to people development.
Okay.
But then my background in electrical and computer engineering makes it easy for me to introduce technology to the business that I do.
Okay.
So I'm able to talk about digital innovation, technology, AI, metaverse, and all of this, you know, interesting technology stuff that we talk about. Those are the skills that young people should be learning. And then you mentioned JAPA. See, it's very important. We must come to a point where we have a national policy to allow people to migrate with talent.
Yes.
We export it, and the government makes revenue on it.
And we have the population to do that.
We do. That's what happens in India.
Who are
So
interested.
India collects tax
on the Silicon Valley itself.
Yeah,
Yes.
the people, because what are we exporting? We're not only exporting crude, we're exporting talent. So if we're making money from crude, we should make money from talent. We have used national resources to develop medical doctors, engineers.
Unfortunately, we don't have a data for that.
We need the data,
proper
have
data.
a framework.
Yeah, because
to
we
be able to
discussed that
power
actually.
Is this a step towards that?
I mean, all of these conversations we're having should, you know, build towards that, so that we can now have a national policy that it's okay to export. Some of the best doctors in America today, they are Nigerians.
Yeah.
But how is Nigeria as a nation
Benefiting.
benefiting from that? Right?
So I just want to add that JAPA in itself, it's not a bad syndrome.
No, it's not.
It's actually money for us. It's income for us.
Through diaspora.
Through diaspora. And in this world of technology, of working from any space, you can actually do jobs, 2-3 jobs from any location. You can actually even leave Nigeria if you don't have to resign. So we now have to build framework that will support that. That you don't actually have to leave as a talent from my organization. You will still give me the service that I need, but you can work from any location.
You can work from anywhere.
And they work for even companies. I know young
I
people
know,
work for 3-4 companies in
you know,
America.
with,
But
yes, exactly. Earning much more in foreign currency, that will bring a lot more value back home.
Okay, before we go, what's the level of collaboration with the Ministry of Education, for instance, where you go to schools for career guidance? Because a lot of kids out there have what it takes, you know, to do whatever it is they want to do, but the facility is not there. What do? They are intelligent, but the idea to even think, okay, I want to be an AI specialist, I want to be that, it's not there, because they have it, but who will push them to realize and recognize their talent? How do you push them? What are you doing with the Ministry of Education to do that?
That's one of the main reasons we're having this conference in the capital city.
Okay.
Yes. Because again, if we're, you know, it's easy to stay in the back corner somewhere and you're talking, right? And like I say, it's easy to be a critic. Just come out and be a participant in nation building. And that's what we've come to do. I mean, using this conference of LDNI, which is starting tomorrow, 17th to 19th of September. And the idea is to be visible, because again, the ministry can't even know there are people like this.
Yes.
So first, we're here to say, look, we're here.
Present.
We are open to collaboration. It's nation building. That's what comes to mind first.
Yes.
Right? So we're available for partnership, for cooperation, to help deliver this message of national development through talent development, so that we can grow our people and build a nation that we will all be proud to say, I'm a Nigerian. Yes.
Well, I was just going to ask how can you, the policymakers help to develop, what policy framework do you think is necessary actually to strengthen this drive?
Okay, so in terms of the policy state, it's not going to be just a simple answer that I'm going to be able to provide. However, I think a lot more of engagement, right, with the policymakers, the regulatory bodies, to say this is the direction that we are suggesting. And then also, they are experienced also in the public sector. So bringing both experiences together and having a point of convergence to say, yes, now there's an agreement, we can build a framework to say, okay, this is where we're going to. So for instance, for us at LDNI, we have what we call the capability model of the ATD that we have adopted, right? Which is 3 main models that have 23 competencies under them. So one of the model is personal development, professional development, and organizational development. So under those three models and the framework, there are 23 competencies to be developed under for an individual at organizational level. As a professional, there are certain standards that you should have. At a personal level, you are in a conversation as a professional. There are certain decorum that you should be able to bring to the table. And you get there, they say, wow, that guy is a Nigerian.
Yes.
He has something to offer.
Of course, we stand out everywhere.
Everywhere.
Okay. Your last parting words.
Okay, so the in addition to what he has just said, we have to be very deliberate. That's actually the truth. We have to do a lot of government engagement. If you have to be present, then you have to engage the policymakers. We can't go very far if the policymakers are not giving us the backing. And how do we do it? We're present in Abuja now for this conference. After it, we intend to take it a notch higher to begin to do more of government engagement through the different platforms of we, the LDNI, and other professional bodies.
Well, okay, your presence is just for a few days, then you go back to Lagos?
No, we are present here. I'm
after
actually
the conference.
the conference is, I'm a regional head. Yes, and not just for Abuja,
for the
and
northern
for the
region.
north.
For the northern
yes,
region.
so and we're driving, the message is that we are changing the landscape of learning and development.
Changing the landscape of
learning.
learning and development. Thank you very much, Hajia Saidatu Farouk, Abuja Regional Chair and Conference Vice Chairman. Thank you for coming on Good Morning Nigeria.
Good morning.
And also I want to just thank the Chairman Champions of Talent Development Conference, Adenrele Onikosi. Thank you, and wish you all the best
Thank
for
you
your
so
conference.
much for having us.
And that's Good Morning Nigeria for today. Thank you so much for your time. See you tomorrow.
And I'm Ademola Adio. Thanks for watching. Have a lovely day.